Start streaming at night. Good evening, everybody. It's nighttime. It's a nighttime stream. Big Boss. Excuse me. Forgot to start Big Boss, but there's Big Boss. And here, I am. Hello. I'm going to turn a light on back here. That gonna work? That's bright. Hello. It's me. It's nighttime. I don't have any plans for the evening. I don't have a show planned, classically speaking, in the classic sense. I'm going to figure out a way to turn. So I just decided after a long weekend, a long, great weekend, with the kids and all that sort of stuff, and it was very hot, that I am going to just sort of read for a little bit as a way for me to practice reading and maybe doing so with less of an emphasis on trying to be entertaining. So if you do join, apologies in advance. This is not a show where I'm trying to be particularly entertaining, but I am just hoping to read. Full disclosure, cards on the table, what have you. I think one thing that I'd love to be able to do is do some reading, be that for audiobooks, be that for anything else. I went to school for broadcasting and I really enjoyed teleprompter reading, which maybe isn't the highest compliment to pay to myself, but I really liked it. And so part of why I started doing these manual streams was to get back into that. And I just figured I would try it now with zero pressure right now and sort of see how that goes. So if somebody joins, fantastic. Would love to have you. If nobody joins, it's totally cool. I'm just going to sort of read. I'm extremely tired right now. Again, long, hot weekend. So who knows how long I've got in me. But figured I would just go ahead and do some chilled out reading. So you know what I'm going to go ahead and do? I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to go through anything. I am just going to go ahead and let me see if I do this. Okay, great. I'm just going to go ahead and start a manual. Who cares? A manual, game one. Let's read from a little manual called Battletoads versus Double Dragon. Battletoads, Double Dragon. Battletoads and Double Dragon. You can see here, this is the Super Nintendo version. I would say that if I'm this guy here on the left, one of the Lee brothers, I'm super scared of what's happening around me. I've seen some bad things in my life as a double dragon, as one of two dragons, but nothing quite as frightening, frankly, as this guy right here. I will admit that I do not remember whether this is Rash, whether this is Zitz, or whether this is Pimple, but I think he looks cool, and I'm happy to see them work together. This is an interesting game by Trade West. I don't remember who actually developed this one. It feels very different than Battletoads did to me, so I don't remember exactly who made it, but this is neither here nor there for this stream, this Sunday evening stream. Let's read a little bit about the Ultimate Team. I will say, I love these character designs. Now, these character designs, I believe, come courtesy, of the incredible Kev Bayless. We just did some Killer Instinct earlier this week, but we've got some Kev Bayless goodness here on our Sunday night Pacific time. They just look so cool. I don't know. These guys look great. He's looking as Pip-Boy. His finger's got something going on here. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about what his finger accomplishes, but that's okay, because we've got the Ultimate Team. Let's read about the Ultimate Team. You can sort of see, and just in the early goings here, you can sort of see that the focus is on the Battletoads as the hotter, frankly, cooler property. You got, let's just see here, I just posted this, right? Oh yes, No Frills Nighttime Stream. Following her crushing defeat, I guess I should try to have some sort of energy here. Following her crushing defeat at the hands of the Battletoads on Ragnarok's world, the humiliated Dark Queen hightailed it to the outer reaches of the universe. Months have passed, and the Queen's parting threat of revenge has become a distant memory to Professor T. Bird and the Battletoads, Zitz, Rash, and Pimple. However, when a mysterious energy beam from outer space renders Earth's military might powerless, and a city sized spaceship called the Colossus smashes out of the moon. Ooh, that's gonna be real bad for tides. There's gonna be some bad tidal waves. The professor knows it has to be the Dark Queen trying her latest galaxy dominating plan. He's right, of course, but what he doesn't realize is that the shady lady's taking no chances this time, and she's cunningly teamed up with the equally shady Shadow Boss. This means that the Battletoads will not only have to fight the Queen and her sidekicks, General Slaughter, Big Blag, and Robomanus, but Abobo and Roper, the Shadow Boss's minions as well. There are some names already here. Um, so that's how it stands, Toads. The Dark Queen's got herself some serious backup, and now she's coming to take over your Earth. What are you gonna do about it? I like that all of a sudden there's all sorts of, there's a very casual tone to the way it's being written. First of all, you're gonna get the sides even. Yeah, those terrific twins, Billy and Jimmy Lee, otherwise known as the Double Dragons, are just raring to get in on the action, especially since the Shadow Boss is their archest of enemies. Did this like it just turned into this thing where they're saying, "What are you gonna do about it?" They're just raring to get in on the action. Oh, those crazy guys. I don't see this anywhere else here, and all of a sudden it's just started to talk like this. So maybe there's been a change in authors halfway through the manual. After picking up the dragons in the battlecopter, it's time to play Space Cadets and intercept the mighty Colossus. Now's the time to get mad and bad as you begin your epic quest to save Earth from the bad guys. It's not going to be easy, team. The Colossus is a big ship, and there's bound to be a whole ton of trouble waiting within its neutron shields. And with trouble comes questions. Will the team up between the Toads and the Dragons be tight enough to defeat the Dark Hordes? And if so, will the Dark Queen and the Shadow Boss hang around long enough for you to settle the score? There's only one way to find out, so pick up that controller and play Battletoads slash Double Dragon, the ultimate team. Heck yeah, heck yeah. Space Astrocat is in the chat. Yes, late night stream it is. I'm just going to do something here before I get to bed. It was a hot, hot weekend, and my brain is fried. So I figured, what better way to soothe the mind than with Battletoads versus Double Dragon, excuse me, on the Super Nintendo. You can see here you got Rash, you got Zitz, you got Pimple joining us tonight on our late night stream. You got Billy, you got Jimmy also joining us. Thank you very much. Some cool guys with some ripped sleeves. And here's some guys who are just straight up naked. Kind of realizing right now that the Battletoads are fully naked. There's no like Donald Duck, he's wearing a shirt kind of thing. They are just absolutely totally naked. I guess the Ninja Turtles were too. So yeah, shows you how to use the controller. It shows you where to go. There's the scoreboard. And yeah, I think what this game did for me as a kid was, as I remember my friend Anton had this game, what this game did for me was really drive home just how much I appreciated the Battletoads as a kid and just how little I cared about Double Dragon, which is not a criticism of any of this game per se. It's just, where my interests lie, where my proclivities lay, I suppose. Space Astrocat, however, you do love Double Dragon, but this game was made by the Battletoads team, and they just did not care about the Double Dragons at all. So there you go. See that? I did not know that this was made by the folks, it sounds like at Rare, who did Battletoads, which explains why the Battletoads are the peak of the. They are the top team, and it, at least, if nothing else, this game bolstered my opinion that the Battletoads are cooler than Double Dragon. Though I did have a good time with Double Dragon in the arcade. So there we go. I did not realize I should have done, well, I shouldn't have done some research. I just sort of rolled into this thing tonight There's a lot here. Game description. Should we read the game description? Let's read the game description. I want to see what it is. As the battle copter swoops low over the Colossus, the battle toads and the dragons leap out, excuse me, I'm a little congested right now too. Leap out onto the tail of the spaceship, and your Earth-saving epic adventure begins. Don't expect the red carpet treatment, cause the Shadow Boss and the Dark Queen will have their own personal way of welcoming you. After you fight your way across the tail, it's into the corridors where your action gets faster, where the action gets faster. I can't read. This is followed by a trip into the bowels of the ship, then a shootout against the awesome arsenal of the Colossus itself. Defeat the Colossus and you're faced with a race against time on a missile headed for Earth, intent on destroying it. Defuse the warship and the missile crash lands, setting up the final showdown with the gruesome twosome. But getting to them ain't gonna be a pushover. Just every so often we get the we get some rootin' tootin' Texas guy writing this manual. But getting to them ain't gonna be a pushover. No way. Each of the levels are packed with beastly baddies and lethal objects, each more horrendous than the last. Baddies are combined armies of the Dark Queen and Shadow Boss. From the spineless Shadow Marines to the mighty monstrous muscle of a Bobo and Big Blag, they're all gonna try to stop you. Obstacles are a multitude of stationary and moving objects, always very dangerous and often fatal to the touch. There are hidden objects, these are hidden throughout the levels, waiting to catch unwary dragons and toads completely off guard. To deal with these evil hordes, the toads have an awesome arsenal of smash hits at their disposal, while the dragons can call upon their equally impressive array of Dragon Force techniques. Each gives the user incredible attacking combinations, including kicks, punches, stomps, throws, and much more. In addition, you'll find that certain objects can be picked up as weapons, so don't hesitate to use them should the situation arise. But the bad guys aren't going to stand there and let you punch their lights out, are they? Of course not. They're rough and tough and love a good fight, and if your player falls short, it's a one-way ticket to the ground, because each toad and dragon has a limited lifespan. Most of the action takes place on foot, but certain areas demand expert driving skills. There's the toad's favorite speeder bike, plus the use of a high-speed, heavily armored space pod. When you finally battle your way down to planet Earth, the real challenge begins. You must venture into the dingy darkness of a basement where the Shadow Boss lurks. Then it's into the Dark Queen's spaceship where a life or death struggle begins to determine the future of the Earth. There's playing techniques. In level 1, this is pretty cool actually to me. I think this is kind of neat that they will tell you all about what you can and can't do in any given level. The characters can deliberately fall off the edges of the wing and climb onto the edge with their fingers. To do this, just move up or down on the edge and the character will fall off or cling on automatically. Use this to your advantage by attacking the enemies that are also holding on to edges. To get back onto the wing, press jump. Be careful not to get hit while clinging onto edges, or you'll fall off and lose an entire life. You get that, you get level 2, you get level 3. These don't mean a lot, I guess, if you aren't familiar with what the levels are. I'm not. So they could probably say almost anything here. To cling onto the mesh wire on level 3, press up, then use the control pad to move the character where you want him to go. Kind of like in Super Mario World, it sounds like. There's level 4, there's level 5, level 6, and of course, level 7, where you follow the standard control functions. They just got they got real tired of doing this. Level 1, by level 2 and level 3, they are super, and level 4, they are super excited about detailing everything in here. And then by level 5, they're like, level 6, well, you can cling onto the lights, I guess. And then level 7 is they're like, I don't know, man, just play the game. So yes, Space Astrocat points out there is a pretty good variety of gameplay in this game. I'll give them that. That is my memory as well. I always sort of forget whether this game is a standard side scroller or more of like a belt action game. My memory, or with like the speeder bikes, my memory of the game is that it's kind of a little bit of everything. So that is kind of neat. Follow the standard control functions. Level 7. Yeah, by level 7, they're just like, man, I don't know, dude. Just, I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? You get the Battletoads smash hits. Let's read about them. You've got Kiss My Fist, big straight punch. Big Bad Boot, big kick. This is like, I feel like I'm reading lyrics right now. Um, Nuclear Knuckles, double handed slam, Battle Toad butt, big headbutt. BT Bash and Ball, swinging Wrecking Ball attack, swinging size 13's big kick while on the turbo rope. Take out the trash, picks up and throws on the ground. Bike and Bash, backward kick while on the speeder bike. No way back thwack, used when holding the walker's legs. Twin side slam, smashes baddie to the left and right on the ground. And the back and front punt, kicks while hanging. Yeah, but I put Space Astro Cat was like on level 7. They just had to have someone doing overtime to get it done. They're like, I don't know, they got it. They can figure this out. Just play the game. You get the Dragon Force techniques. There's a lot of cutting out a G at the end of the word and replacing it with an apostrophe to make it sound really cool. You get the Twistin' Typhoon kick, jumping spinning kick, the Thunderin' knee drop, the Earthquake Elbow Smash, the Flying Dragon Kick, the Whirlwind, Sidewall Smash, Take Out the Trash. You got that one. You got Bike and Bash there too. You get Jab and Stab Strike. You get the Nose Crunching Knee. That sounds real painful. You get the Back and Front Punt. And you get the Dragon's Tail Throw. Rolls on his back and throws baddie backwards. So you get to throw the baddie backwards. There's objects. You get bonus pods. You get dynamites and grenade stuff. Steer clear of their flashing as they're about to go bang. You can pick up a walker's leg, which is kind of cool. There's a turbo rope. There's the speeder bike. You get the baddies. You get the Shadow Marine. The Shadow Boss's personal army of mindless morons. They patrol the Colossus' tail, eager to repel attackers. You got the Retro Blaster. With twin blasters glowing, this robotic bone shaker will make holes in your team if you're not quick on your feet. You got the Mechnomit. This heavy-handed horror can't wait to serve you up a knuckle sandwich. Dodge its digits, then give it a handshake it won't forget. You could feel they were feeling that one. They put some mustard on that description. You've got a Bobo. He's big, he's bad, and he's really mad. You're intruders in his territory, and he won't rest until he's pounded you into the ground. Then you've got the Walker, one of the Dark Queen's loyal stalwarts. This mechanical menace takes great pleasure in kicking you when you're down. Then you've got the Doorman of Doom. This cowardly character lurks behind doors and tosses sticks of dynamite into your path. Pick him up and return him, and he's sure to get a blast of unhappiness. The famous saying. It's a famous saying. The blast of unhappiness. Then you got Big Blag. Here we go. You get this cool rat. This undisputed chief of the Rat Pack fell out of the Toads. This undisputed chief of the Rat Pack fell foul to the Toads in their last encounter, but he won't be so easy to beat this time, as he's out to do some serious chomping and stomping. This is how they This is how they do like news reports. This is like the news report reads, Ryder, hurtling along the corridors of the Colossus at breakneck speed, this brainless biker will keep kicking till you bite the dust. Then you got Guido. This scumball halfwit may look stupid. Yeah, Guido, you piece of shit. This scumball halfwit may look stupid, but he's rough and tough and never knows when he's been beaten. You got Linda Lash. In the grand tradition of dominatrices in video games from the 90s. New to the Toads, but the Dragons will recall their numerous encounters with this whip-wielding woman. Avoid her stingin' swingin', or you'll be squealing like a psycho pig. A generational awakening with the Linda Lash character in the manual for Battletoads and Double Dragon. Raven, survivors from the original Battletoads. Survivors from the original Battletoads. It's like the Battletoads went through. Rash, Zitz, and Pimple just went through and systematically murdered everybody in there in the original game. It's a sad story. Survivors from the original Battletoads. They're back to even the score. Tweak their beaks with a well-placed punch and watch these feather fiends fall. Securicam. Located deep in the bowels of the awesome Colossus, the slightest movement is enough to activate their high-powered blasters. Then we got Roper. He's as big as a Bobo, he's as bad as a Bobo, but he's also got a big gun. What's more, he knows how to use it, especially on toads and dragons. Buzz Disc. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Buzz Disc, if you haven't played Disc Room, very good video game. Strongly recommend it. Yeah, Space Astrocat is in the chat. You have, I think, a much deeper understanding of Double Dragon than I do, and so a lot of this is reading as like a little bit off-brand to me, but I'm not quite sure I was able to put my finger on why. But you're pointing out that Roper is actually Willie. Um, Sounds like there's a number of things where when they were making this game, they're like, yeah, okay, Trade West, we'll put in Double Dragon into our Battletoads game. And I, again, I'm not going to sit here and say that's the wrong choice because I have my proclivities. But it is pretty funny and pretty apparent that they're just like, oh no, we're good, we don't care. The buzz disc is crackling with 10,000 volts of energy. It patrols the walls of the Colossus's interior. Accuracy means everything, as mistakes can be shocking. Colossus itself, this ship's the size of a city, chock full of hench people of the Shadow Boss and the Dark Queen, and packed with enough ordnance to invade a galaxy. Nuff said. Nuff said. We got it. We got it as a society. Get back to saying nuff said. Nuff said. That's what I think. I think we should start saying that more. Nuff said. I'm gonna say that when my kids want to push bedtime, and I'll say, no, it's time to go to bed. Nuff said, and they're gonna be like, wow, that's so cool. General Slaughter. He might be clumsy and stupid, but he always uses his head as a weapon. You got Robo Manus. The mutant Biogen still lives. Thought to be destroyed by the toads, he's looking keener, leaner, and meaner than before. Then we've got Lopar. An old enemy of the Lee twins, he's gonna make darn sure that this encounter won't end in him receiving his usual humiliating beating. Then we have the Window Man of Doom, who is pulling shapes over here to the side. He looks pretty cool. Brother to the doorman, he's every bit as chicken, hiding behind windows where he thinks he's safe. Grab his grenades and sling them back. It also seems like all the enemies that they face from the Double Dragon game, they're just like, this guy's a huge wimp, this guy's a crybaby, this guy's a chicken. Scuzz from Battletoads is mooching menacingly inside the missile. This revolting rodent springs from doorways to try to knock you out for the count. These character descriptions would make a good Jeopardy Jeopardy section. You could imagine them saying, "This revolting rodent springs from doorways to try to knock you out for the count," and then the person would say, "Who is Scuzz?" and you would win 200 points. You got the Shadow Boss. One half of the Dire duo, the boss has waited so long to see the dragons fall. Now, with the Dark Queen's help, he's sure it'll be curtains for 'em all. And then we've got the Dark Queen herself. The other half of the Dire duo, she wants revenge on the Toads for Ragnarok. As usual, you'll have to... is the music playing? Okay. Sorry, I put music in there and I was like, I don't know if it's actually playing. The other half of the Dire duo, she wants revenge on the Toads for Ragnarok. As usual, you'll have to defeat her disciples before you get the chance to show her the error of her ways. Yeah, Space Astrocat points out that Shadow Boss has love tattooed on his knuckles. Is that a canonical? Is that what's in there? You got obstacles, you got the drums, you got the post walls. Oh god, the post walls. You got Crusha, which appears to be some of a Tetris piece. Comes at various degrees of difficulty, but all have the same result, either a toad pancake or a dragon pizza. Oh, okay. The Shadow Boss apparently is a character they made up for this game. So, there we go. So, Shadow Boss, I like it. I support it. Love on his fingers. I think that's cool. You get electro barriers, you got mines, you got astro boulders, homing missiles, machine guns, afterburners. You got hints and tips. Let's see if there's anything about level 7 in here. There's level 3. And level 3, if you hit the Raven several times in succession, you will gain an extra life. You can watch out for the 2 extra lives that the rat ship Colossus shoots out just after the set of diagonally exploding mines, and try to score as many points as possible, as the first 100,000 points earned gives you an extra life. After that, an extra life is given every 200,000 points, at 300,000, then at 500,000, then at 700,000, etc. There's a limited warranty. If you have any issues with this, don't come to me. You can go reach out to the good folks at Trade West Inc. over at 2400 South Highway 75, Corsicana, Texas, 75110. 903-874-2683 is the phone number. So there we go. Go to Corsicana and tell them that you want to know who wrote the manual because there are no credits. So thank you. That's Battletoads and Double Dragon. And I was actually just sort of thinking of finding another manual and seeing what's up. I'm curious. You'll need a time machine too, I think, probably to go to Trade West. No, actually, when a video game publisher closes, they freeze the office that they were in time, so that like 30 years later, people like us can go visit and see where the magic was made. I'm pretty sure. That's how. We talk a lot about video game preservation these days, so I'm pretty sure that's what this means. They preserve the offices, and unfortunately the people who were still in them at the time. So disappointing for them, but them's the breaks. Dizzy and Lost is here. Sunday stream. Thank you for coming. I'm just hanging out. This has been a very we'll call it a very loose stream. We're just reading some stuff. I found some Super Nintendo manuals, and I figured maybe let's do Bubsy 2. I don't know. Let's see what that looks like. How does Bubsy 2 sound? It's gonna load. Bubsy 2. Yeah, I think we're talking. Bubsy 2. Instruction booklet. Bubsy. Do we have any strong opinions about Bubsy in the chat? My argument is that Bubsy is actually fine. And I enjoyed the first Bubsy and the second Bubsy well enough. And I am somebody who is open-minded, in fact, to Bubsy 3D. Because I think it's cool that they tried something, and that's all that really matters to me. Yes, there's an extremely good armadillo on here. I think this art is actually fantastic. Bubsy himself looks like kind of a dick, as we know, but however, this armadillo is pretty cool. And it's hard to see on the screen there, but this is a pretty cool Nerf gun. You get that? The instruction booklet from our friends over at Accolade. Thank you for purchasing the Bubsy 2 Super NES game pack. No, thank you, Accolade. We get some credits off the bat. Let's take a look at them. I don't know. We've got Cynthia Kirkpatrick as part of this sort of practice that I'm doing of just sort of reading on stream. Names I find to be a very good way to practice that, because they will always throw you for a loop. So we'll just take a look at some of these folks. Yeah, Space Astrocat. Most people hate these games. I don't, though. I don't either. I think that they're kind of good. They're not like the best ones of all time, but they're kind of good. I think they're fun. There's a reason they were popular, is I think the right thing for me. There's a reason they were popular. The producer of Bubsy 2 was Cynthia Kirkpatrick. The executive producer was John A.S. Skeel. The associate producer was James Kucera, and the design was by Team Bubsy. Art design was Beckett Gladney. Map design, Cynthia Kirkpatrick. Additional map design was done by James Kucera, Arlen Robbins, Gary Strawn. You got Ken Macklin doing Bubsy design and animation. You got Paul Quinn and Russell Schiffer doing programming. And music was done by Chip Harris. Chip is a very good 8 to 16-bit music guy name. Sound and sound programming was Russell Schiffer. You got Bubsy voice was Rob Paulson, who I think is like just a normal like voice actor, right? Rob Paulson is a very familiar name. Support programming, John Canfield, Duke Cho, David Houston, Fred Mack, Louis Rivas, Gary Strawn, and now we get to what I like to read the most, quality assurance. Yeah, quality assurance here. We have Harry Chavez, Steve Follis, Kevin Sider. Yeah, Ken Macklin doing a bunch of stuff. Bobby Fagone, John A.S. Keel doing the comic book story. The manual writing, which we are about to enter into here, was taken care of by someone named Suzanne Sweeney. And the manual interior illustrations were done by Adrian Bourne and Michael McLaughlin, with creative services by Shirley Sellers and marketing by Bobby Fagone, Nicole Noland, Larry Weisler, Robert Burnett, and special thanks to Steve Kirkpatrick, Tana Schiffer for the loans, Brian Silva, and all those who helped. Um, oh, oh boy. I'm going to have to change the approach to this one. We're not reading all of this. Oh, Jesus, that's just the beginning. So, this manual, and I'll share it on Blue Sky because I think folks need to see this. This manual here is a comic book, basically, for most of it. We get an entire comic book. And yes, you're right. Space Astrocat points out that Bubsy 3D is not great. It was important for what it tried to do, and I think it also got a really unfairly bad rap, despite not being that great, just because it happened to come out right around the time of some other big hitters. I think like right around like Mario and Crash, right? But it was being developed before them. Like they didn't have a chance to see Mario 64 and then like make their minds up about different things. There's a great YouTube. Um, I've talked about him a few times. There's a great YouTube guy. I hate saying YouTuber, but you know what I mean. Named Sean Shanson, again, who does a bunch of really incredible PlayStation videos. And one of them is, I think, what he calls like it's like the 5 worst PlayStation games of all time. But the whole point is not that they are in fact the worst; they're the ones that are oftentimes considered the worst. And he goes in and does sort of like not a review, but he looks at them and he plays them and he gets a better understanding of them and says, are these really the worst games on the PlayStation? And one of them is Bubsy. And I thought it was really interesting. If you're interested, I'll post it on Blue Sky maybe because I thought it was really cool and a nice way to contextualize what Bubsy 3D actually was, which is not a great game, but a game that I think, as you point out there, Space Astrocat important for what it tried to do, and also the jumping off point for the team to make Siphon Filter, which indeed was pretty cool. So I'm not going to read the manual, or I'm not going to read the manual. I'm not going to read the comic book because I think this comic book probably needs to be seen and taken in. And I'm not just going to read this. Is this a reference to Sonic though? Wasn't much of a boom. Sonic Boom? I didn't hear anything. They got him. Sonic who? Yeah, take that, Sonic. So there we go. Maybe this is why people hate Bubsy because they're just like, oh my god, he says so much attitude. Bubsy takes no prisoners. Yeah, so we will go through this and we'll just go read the manual itself. But whoa, did they have an actual Nerf license? Oh, they did. Nerf Bazooka Brigade. Bubsy 2 had an official Nerf license. This is incredible. This is incredible to me. Wow. Okay. So yeah, they break in there. Arnold the Armadillo. Arnoldillo. Today he's stolen Egypt, so we'll figure out what's going on. But I think there's a lot of important stuff in the story here, and we'll have to figure that out. A lot of Nerf. They're drinking Slurp soda, which is kind of cool. I will say I really like the designs here. Like this looks really neat. So there we go. Let's keep on going. Got a Bobcat in the Amazatorium. Scroll, scroll, scroll. I would say let's read this on our own time. But we've got a word from Bubsy coming up. I'm alarmed by this character. A word from Bubsy, the Bobcat, the legend. Just think of it. Me, Bubsy Bobcat. I don't know how to do his voice. Fabulously talented star of game and screen reduced to pushing a Amazatorium tours for Dr. V reality. Why, it seems like only yesterday when I was wild, free, and not committed to wearing a work outfit that comes with a paper hat. I'm the official tour guide of Dr. Reality's Amazatorium. Oh sure, it sounds like fun, but maybe you should read the fine print in your travel brochure before making me your trusty travel guide. The absolute definitive object of the game. To complete the game in a victorious manner, you must reach and then defeat Oinker P. Ham. To locate Oinker, travel through all the levels of the selected tour in the Amazatorium, making sure to tag the end of level markers, large red marbles, in each world. When the levels are completed, the boss door will open that leads you to Oinker. And these items are important too. The Amazatorium has 3 floors and 2 wings, east and west. Choosing one wing or the other will affect which sections you venture through. Each wing is entirely different, complete with its own challenges. To put it technically, it's like having two Amazatoriums in one. Before making that all important wing choice, you must first choose a tour. The number of levels seen in the Amazatorium will depend on the type of tour you choose. I'm so confused. Each tour increases with difficulty, ranging from the first floor tour as the mildest to the grand tour as the longest and most difficult. Whew. Yeah, you're right. His voice was high pitched and squeaky, like Bart Simpson a little. You're right. I guess like attitudey, like he's like an attitudey tween. Setting up the game, I kind of like this guy over here. Yeah, you got to make sure that the control is off. I like that in the Super Nintendo era, they hadn't quite. I think Nintendo hadn't quite fully locked down some of the terminology in here. So I like that they say, and this is just a small thing, but I like that it's pop the Bubsy 2 game pack into the machine, following the steps on the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo System Manual. Like just like some casual stuff. Hey, we're having a conversation. Pop it in there. It's all good. The Bubsy controls, I'll look up, activate a transporter, enter a warp cave, or throw a switch. It's like what I will do. I think is kind of a neat thing. Very cool over here. What a classic. What a nice controller the Super Nintendo controller is, man. Cool characters, cool looking stuff. This is a very Simpsons-y character right here, I feel like. Awesome Amazatorium tours. Taking a good trip requires a little planning, so I'll get started by introducing our incredible selection of fun and exciting tours. The first floor tour is take an easy visit to the first levels of Egypt, music, space, medieval, and aerial worlds, then discuss the fate of the world with Oinker P. Ham. Second floor tour. This tour covers a visit to each of the 5 worlds. Watch out, things get tougher on the second floor. The third floor tour. This tour takes me directly to the top floor of the Amazatorium. This floor is packed with tough henchmen and one furious boss. They missed an opportunity to say furious. Is it too late to change? Is it too late to change my reservation? Whoa. Remember, no matter which tour you choose, I must tag the end of level marker, the big red marble, in each world before the boss door, leading to Oinker, will open. After you've completed your tour in the East Wing, try the West Wing for a completely different experience. And then there's the Grand Tour. The Grand Tour is the most difficult. It covers all 3 floors in Egypt, music, space, medieval, and aerial worlds, including an expanded version of the first and second floor levels. That's 15 glorious levels. Before I can move on from one floor to another, I must tag the end of level marker located in each world and fight the interim boss. After I've completed all 3 floors, I'll face the ultimate challenge of battling Oinker. I feel like I'm going crazy by saying Oinker over and over again. Private excursion or companion fare, you decide. That's 1 or 2 players. 2 player feisty. You still take turns defeating them, but when the second player is taking care of me, you take control of one of the twins and drop bananas on me to make me slide, so you can screw with someone, which is kind of cool. Yes, Dizzy and Lost. I also love that it's in first person. I think that's pretty neat. Um, Note, if everyone playing has lost all their lives, the tour is over. No refunds. Each tour ticket sale is final. Have a nice day. They were enjoying themselves when they were writing this. And you know what? Honestly, Bubsy, again, like bad rap, and maybe it doesn't land for everybody, and I don't know what the jokes are like in the game, and maybe it's just referencey and all that. I don't know. I don't remember it super well. But I will always appreciate a game with personality that goes for something, and here they are absolutely going for something, which is fun. Alone or with a buddy, you have 1 or 2 player minigames. You play only the minigame series Frogapult, Armadillo Drop, and Liquid Lunacy. And I'm telling you now, as your trusted tour guide, that no frogs, armadillos, or bobcats were harmed in the making of these games. Honest, cat's honor. Cross my heart and hope to fry. Hope to fry what? Burp? The credits. Finally, the answer to that burning question. How many people does it make to take a does excuse me? How many people does it take to make a pig fly? And better yet, you'll learn what kind of folks would actually want to. That's pretty good. Game dev. Um, so yeah, Bubsy, man, this manual has a lot going on, and I probably don't have the energy for all of it. But we're on page 27 of 40, just FYI. Yeah, let's go over what these numbers and icons mean. You figured it out. Brownie points for you. Just humor me and read along anyway, okay? He says. Yep, marbles collected. Time. Keep on going. I'm just gonna keep on rolling. The portal holes. Uh, the diving suit. Press the A button once to put on the diving suit and the second time to take it off. I'm going underwater? Under gulp water? Wait a minute, that does it. Get my agent on the phone. The closest this Bobcat gets to diving is doing the limbo on a Club Med trip to Tahiti. Do they still have Club Med? Um, I can't use the diving suit in Air Wars or Space Pirates, so don't bother trying. See? Told you. Can you say waste of time? Knew you could. Classic Bubsy. The bomb is cool looking. Lee Tregan, yeah, imagine being Bubsy's agent. He's just so frustrated. She's just so frustrated. Oh God, it's Bubsy again. Yeah, Bubsy. Yeah, nope, nope, yep, nope. We're not going to Bub. We're not going to Bub Med, Club Med, Bub Med. Oh my God. Um, you get the Nerf Bazooka. So we actually have the Nerf Bazooka in there. Um, anyone who's hit will turn into a trading card for me to collect. And you know what that means? More toys. Bubsy's Nerf Bazooka steals the souls of his enemies and he collects them for God knows what. Uh, yeah, there we go. Don't leave home without him. The trading cards. To collect trading cards, bop enemies with your Balzuka trademark, or get the Super Marble from the Liquid Lunacy minigame. Have I told you lately just how much I love using my Balzuka? Just a thought. To learn how to use your trading cards, see the Amazatorium gift shop. You get a patch up. This Bobcat fixer-upper looks like a great big bandage. It's it's good for anything that ails me. If I'm close to losing all my lives, have me tag the patch up. The Bubsy icon in the upper right of the screen will show my speedy recovery. Then you get a bag of marbles. What it says is what it is, a big bag of marbles. But you can nab some happy points by scooping up one. So keep on the lookout. You get your super marble, found only in the Liquid Lunacy minigame. That's what the brochure says. Well, good luck for you, or good luck to you diving for that buried treasure. I would do it, but you know how much I hate water. I mean, it just plays heck with the hair. Imagine being Bubsy's hairstylist. Marble crates. Now, can you you're a hairstylist and you're trying to make small talk and you're trying to make small talk like with Bubsy, like making a small talk against Bubsy. Just seems like a real tough situation. Space Astrocat, gotta go to bed. Have a great night. Take care. Thank you for joining. I'm probably gonna bounce out too in a little bit. But Lee Trigan, have a great night though. Thank you. Lee Trigan points out this from the Nerf wiki. The Balzuka, this is a quote, was also featured as a weapon in Bubsy 2 as a promotional deal between Nerf and Accolade, the game's publisher. I got to be honest, this seems like one of those things where they got that done so that everybody at the office could get a Nerf Bazooka, and I bet that they had some pretty good crunch time Nerf gunfights. If my time doing crunch at a video game company has taught me anything, it's that game developers, we love to have Nerf guns. And someone's going to get hit in the eye, and that's going to be the end of the Nerf guns for at least a couple of weeks. But before that happens, it's going to be a lot of fun. I kind of want a Nerf Bazooka. It looks kind of sweet, to be honest. You've got you thought the bag of marbles was something to write home about. Just imagine a crate of marbles. Just thinking about all the points makes me want to go buy a forklift. You've got the Mighty Souvenir t-shirt. No trip would be complete without a souvenir t-shirt. So grab one of these shirts. If you see one of these shirts, grab one. It'll give you an extra life. And then you've got continues. When you've lost all my lives, thanks, pal. The game will know which levels you've completed and which place and will place you back in the Amazatorium, ready to go again. Boy, this manual is something. Ace, the flying penguin. The wicked exception to a known rule of nature. Penguins don't fly. But hey, they don't usually drop huge ice cubes on unsuspecting bobcats either. So, go figure. I do like it in these games where there's like an enemy that needs to be explained, but the person writing the manual is just like, I can't really explain it. just go with it, and they're like they have to basically write just go with it, and I appreciate that. The Cool Spot manual was full of those. Um, ooh, Lee Tragan has a good a good penguin emoji in there. I like that one. You got Sid the Vicious, Shrew, and Boz the Gourmet Buzzard. Sid has an insatiable appetite. Look at these guys. Oh, I like these kinds of olives, though. Sid has an insatiable appetite. I mean it. Keep your hands and feet away from the guy's mouth. He eats everything. One part sneaky, three parts pathetic. He is best buds and a partner in crime with Boz, the gourmet buzzard. Boz is renowned for putting together nasty or tasty roadkill feasts. Excuse me, not nasty, definitely not nasty. Tasty roadkill feasts. Since there doesn't seem to be a big outside market for Boz's cuisine, he turned his frustrations toward a life of crime. Beware of the infamous Boz bomb. You got Billy the Kid. He's a goat. One ornery cuss of a gymnastic goat. Get him riled up and he'll sidekick you so hard you'll wind up in the cheap seats. You got Lambo. I like Lambo. Lambo's pretty cool. You ain't seen nothing yet that compares to the evil action of this sheep's lethal bleat. You, raw turbo decibel power coming straight at you. Stand back. I got nothing, man. Lambo. You got Jumpin' Hog. Kind of an every hog as far as enemies go. Just don't let him get under your skin, or sit on your head for that matter. He'll leave a real impression on your mind. Huh? Because he's sitting on you. You got Jimmy Knuckles Hog. One mean looking slab of meat. Definitely wouldn't want to run into him in a dark alley, or a light alley, or one done up in a paisley, or, well, I think you get the picture. Do you have a pair of hognail boots? You'll need 'em against this pig. Then things to give a wide berth to. You got fire. Um, Bubsy in all these games gets hurt really well. He always takes damage in a way that looks like genuinely unpleasant for him, and I appreciate that. Like, look at his face here. He's having a bad time. Want to know what really burns my tail? A flame about this high. Since Oiker did a half-asped job of putting clearly marked exits in the Egypt world and a great job in installing huge open fire pits, it's a snap to make me a smoking pile of fur. But you won't let that happen, will you? This is it. This is Bubsy. This is Bubsy on electricity. When I touch this stuff, I fry. Any questions? You get bottomless pits. Now, I used to think only Yahoo Pinhead types you could. I gotta restart this one, I'm sorry. Now, I used to think only Yahoo Pinhead types thought you could tunnel through the world to get to China. Well, fellow travelers, I've sailed through the darkness, and I believe. Don't make me jump down a solid black hole unless you're sure about where it's going. Remember, the life you save may be my own. It genuinely sounds like Bubsy has had a truly traumatic experience in the bottomless pits. Like he's not quite as playful in this particular one as he is in the others. So I'm so sorry to Bubsy. Winning the game. I win the game by defeating Oinker, but you win depending on the game goal you choose and the number of players you have playing. In best time mode, whoever is awarded the most trophies is the winner. You're the winner in high score mode if you beat your opponent's score. Notes: no ties are allowed. To win in best time, two-player friendly mode, your combined number of trophies must beat Oinker's. And remember, you win trophies if you have the best time in a level. And then, okay, we're at the end. So you think you're pretty bad. So, you've played the game. You've played it a million times. You've played it until your ears wiggled and your hands twitched, until the twins were etched permanently onto your eyelids and you called out in your sleep at night, "No more Oinker, you swine, no more." Well, maybe not. But you still think you're pretty bad, don't you? Let's see you prove it. If you love the bizarre and irresistibly twisted worlds in my game, come on, admit it, you know you do, then do your worst, or your best as you may be. Send a mugshot or a picture of you right next to your absolute blown the doors off all your best friends score of best time to me at Bubsy Bobcat, care of Accolade Incorporated, 5300 Stevens Creek Boulevard, number 500 in San Jose, California, 94129. Again, that's Bubsy Bobcat, care of Accolade Incorporated, 5300 Stevens Creek Boulevard, number 500 in San Jose. Stevens Creek Boulevard, always one of the top streets that gets mentioned on the news when they talk about traffic in the morning and in the afternoon. Oh yeah, one more thing. Get someone who still has thumbs to snap the picture, will ya? I thought this was the person, but there we go. So there we go. If you have done an amazing job in Bubsy 2 and you want to get um, your accolades, I guess, send a picture of yourself to Accolade at 5300 Stevens Creek Boulevard. Um, there we go. Whoop. Ta-da! So that's Bubsy. That's Bubsy 2. Um, is my music still going? It seems like it is. I'm going to go ahead and, if you give me just a second here, I think I'm going to probably need to crash, but hold on. I think I'm going to do this. I think that I'm going to need to call it a night because I'm exhausted and I had long weekend. However, what I would like to say is this. If you are looking for a lot of Super Nintendo manuals, go ahead and take a look at, oh, I don't know if this link is actually going to work. Hold on. Go ahead and viewable files. I don't know what this is. Give me a second here. Share. Get an embeddable link. Nope, I don't want that. I just want a regular link. How do I share this? Oh, I don't want to share this book. I don't know. Here, just go to this page. Maybe it'll take you to the right place. I don't know. If it doesn't, let me know elsewhere. Thank you both for coming. Thanks anybody else who did show up. I really appreciate it. This was just for fun, last minute stuff. Get some cobwebs out before a pretty busy work week. And now it's time to go look for Nerf Ballzookas on eBay and see if we can, um, have a big Nerf Ballzooka fight in honor of Bubsy. Thank you to the manual writers today. Thank you again to y'all. Have a great evening and have a great week. All right. Bye bye.